Neighborhood Board to order. And we'll go ahead and get started here with the city-state monthly reports. Going first with Honolulu Fire Department. Are they here?
Yep, right.
Oh, good. Okay.
Good evening, Captain Ryan Oki from Honolulu Fire Station. I'll be giving you August's statistics for the Haula, Hava, and Tuku stations combined for August, as well as a fire safety tip. So for August combined, we had 2 structure fires, 6 wildland brush fires, 5 nuisance fires, 1 cooking fire. For medical emergencies, we had 34 medical alarms, 4 motor vehicle crashes, and 3 ocean rescues and 1 hazardous materials incident. And our fire safety tip for the month is move over for emergency vehicles. So we want you to drive with caution and obey traffic laws, including the move over law. To help protect our first responders while performing their duties near a roadway. This is more than a courtesy, it's the law. Hawaii Revised Statutes 291C-27. So it requires you, a driver of a vehicle, I can't read it, that is approaching an emergency vehicle that is stopped for an emergency, investigation, or possible traffic violation, rendering assistance to a police officer or other official duties, as indicated by their flashing emergency lights. You shall slow down to reasonable but prudent speed that is safe under the circumstances of an emergency road situation ahead. If necessary, the driver shall come to a complete stop before making a lane change. And making a lane change into an adjacent lane is necessary, if necessary, and if it is safe to do so, or if possible, 2 lanes over, which leaves 1 free lane between the driver and the emergency vehicles. Note, emergency vehicle means fire, police, EMS, ocean safety, freeway service patrol, tow trucks, and even some state and county vehicles with personnel who are working. It's a safety tip. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? In person? Any questions from the board online? Any members on the phone?
Casey.
Oh, wait a minute, we're not finished here. Any, who, Mike? No, any questions from the people here in the room, the community?
I just like that on our.
Say, Evelyn, the mic is right there. We needed more mics.
I just recently, just a few, like an hour ago,
Could you
attended
state your name?
Evelyn Lane. I live in the Kahuku Senior Housing over by the church and the golf course. And we had our neighborhood watch meeting just an hour ago with retired Officer Dempsey. And some of the residents have brought up that there's a lot of fireworks going off all around our neighborhood, and it has been going off all week, just lots of them. And we're worried because we're in a fire. Death box.
Any fireworks related incidents, you gotta call HPD to report it. We don't have any enforcement powers as HPD. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So they have to actually catch the individual lighting it. It's very difficult, obviously.
Right.
But I would ask HPD to go after me next.
Be next.
They basically ask that you call it in.
Mhm.
They'll come investigate.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone online have a question for HPD? I'm sorry, HFD.
Casey?
Yes, thank you. I have a quick question. There was a fire that started in Laie Hills, and some people say it continued until last week. Do you know if that's correct? How large was that fire? Who owned the property? And how can you tell us anything about that? Secondly, what triggers an arson investigation? Because we're having so many fires in the Laie Hills, and then 2 years ago in 2022, we had that September, there was a 300-acre fire when that went on for weeks. And the third thing is they were having a lot of building that's being done. Turtle Bay wants to expand.
Excuse me,
Laie on
Casey?
Ocean Shore.
Excuse
What is the
me, Casey.
capacity that triggers? Can you hear me? The triggers.
I want, please
Two
stick to
fire
the
stations.
questions.
So
Please
those
stick
are
to the
three
question.
stations. What is what triggers a new, that you have to grow your capacity as a fire station or a new fire station with all this new building in Laie, Kahuku, Marconi, BYU?
Okay, so the Laie fire, basically, our statistics are a little screwed, I mean, because it says we had 6 wildland, but it's basically the Laie fire rekindling. So we believe that it rekindled again this past week, but very minimal ground cover burning. It's the dead pine needles falling down, produces a lot of smoke. So as far as investigating it is deemed undetermined because of lack of evidence, no witness accounts, no obvious incendiary items up there. So undetermined would be the cause. Probably burned approximately 15 acres to 20 this time. And difficult for us because of elevation. It's about 3/4 way up the Laie Falls Trail. We have to hike in initially because we don't have any access. So we don't have any water, so we rely on airdrops, but the helicopter often gets rerouted to a rescue instead, so that leaves us with some downtime with no water. And just kind of depends on the weather. You know, if the winds pick up, you might fan a little smoldering pine needles and eventually catches again. So we just respond as needed, and we basically try to make a fire break around the whole thing, separating the unburned material from the burnt material. Then, you know, hopefully it doesn't jump over, but apparently it does. Maybe a tree falls over or something. It's such a large area, it's kind of hard for. Figure we have like 10 to 15 guys up there, 20 acres. It's kind of, and it's 45-degree angle, so it's difficult. But we do our best, try to put it out. As far as it starting again, we just believe that it was smoldering the whole time. Kind of sounds unbelievable, but that's what we believe because of the pine needles and dirt. Ends up being like a foot deep. So it's still actually burning under the dirt. We don't even see it kind of stuff. So we believe in it. That's the questions.
Okay, any more questions online?
Question about the capacity anyway, that'll probably be a question for DPP. As far as I know, the department doesn't build their own stations or anything. It kind of revolves around population density and growth. So as of now, the amount the population is, Sunset is sufficient. In the future, I'm not sure. That'll be Department of Planning.
Mahalo, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Is Honolulu's police department online? Maybe we wait and check before we stop. Okay, United States Army. They're not here tonight? Are they online?
Hello.
Hello, aloha.
Aloha. This is your United States Army Rep Staff Sergeant Taylor. So just a few things. First of all, the September job fair is coming up. It's going to be held at the AMR reservation gymnasium, and that's on September 17th. It'll be beginning at 8:30 and it'll be ending at 2. Advanced applicants are welcome to apply online, and walk-ins are also welcomed. Also, the U.S. Army Garrison published the August training advisory for Oahu on 1 September, and it advised about the Ranger Jungle Tactics Small Arms Blank Fire. That's going to be going on from September 3rd through the 6th, the 9th through the 21st. the 23rd through the 27th, and that's going to be only in the daytime from 6 a.m. all the way through 6 p.m. We also have aviation training. Those days are September 6th, the 12th, the 17th, and the 19th. That's also day only, 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Additionally, on Schofield Barracks, there will be training with artillery and mortars the 3rd through the 6th, and the 9th through the 13th, the 14th through the 16th, the 17th through the 19th, and that's going to be going on from 5 a.m. until midnight. Also, we have demolitions training on Schofield Barracks. That's on the 14th through the 15th, and that will be 5 a.m. through midnight. Also, we have JPMRC coming up, and the 25th Infantry Division will execute JPMRC 25-01 training exercise in coordination with the Joint Pacific Multinational Readiness Center and the 196th Infantry Brigade. That'll be going on from October 7th through the 16th. JPMRC is an exercise that is critical for the U.S. Army to prepare for its ability to deploy, fight, and win in combat operations across the Indo-Pacific if required. So when this is going to be happening prior to, please expect increase in military combat simulations during training operations that 7th through the 16th of October. There will also be an increase in helicopter, fixed-wing aircraft, and unmanned aircraft systems, specifically around Wheeler Army Airfield and Dillingham Military Reservation during training operations. And that's also the 7th through the 16th of October. As a reminder, if you have any, the community concern line, the new one that we have is 808-787-1528 to report any concerns. We would like to thank the community for your understanding and patience. Pending any questions.
Any questions for the board in person? Any question of the board online? Board members, any questions of community in person? Any question, community online? Thank you very much. We appreciate your report.
Thank you.
Okay. Next will be our, is HPD on? I don't. Okay, okay. Next we go with the mayor, Rick Blangiardi's representative, Kat Keshner. Oh, oh, do I have to read it?
You don't have to read
Okay, thank you.
it. Just get some.
Okay, highlights from the mayor's newsletter. Everybody read that at home? City takes action to address crime along the Waianae coast. Next thing, nearly 30 brand new security cameras are installed in Chinatown. More on the way. Next item, Mayor Blangiardi hosts a healing vigil on the anniversary of Maui wildfires. Next item, years of blight on Pensacola Avenue. Years, it must be of blight on Pensacola Avenue. City begins demolition of Porter House. Next item, Honolulu named most desirable city to live in the United States. Okay, and then department issues and follow-up. One is on Complete Street. A resident asked if Complete Streets could do a study of the number of deaths and traffic accidents in the Kolaloa region, taking into account the unique aspects of a rural community. And the answer is, I guess, yes. Information on fatal traffic crashes is available on Hawaii Department of Transportation website. And that website is https://safety-tool-hidot.hawaii.gov/map/traffic. So click on the traffic signal icon to display crash data and zoom into the area of interest. The second question asked was requests for a representative. Board members and members of the community are requesting a representative from the Department of Planning and Permitting at the next board meeting to address the issues regarding illegal vacation rentals, the Hawaii Reserves, Inc., HRI, Turtle Bay Development, and Hau'ula's Congressional Church permits. The response is Neighborhood Commission Office. Huh? There's just what? DPP requested an extension. Please keep on the next report, reference, so forth. So they're coming in the future. Okay, great. Okay, next item on the agenda, since we have no one to ask more questions of. Council member Matt Wires, or his staffer.
Hi Dottie. This is Chelsea. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Chelsea, go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. Well, first I'll go ahead and drop our newsletter into the chat here. It is also on council members' page on the city council website here. But just going over some of the highlights, we did celebrate Ku'olauloa Hawaiian Civic Club at the City Council for their centennial anniversary when it was full council on September 4th. So that was really nice. We also went ahead to plug in Key Project's biggest fundraiser of the year. That's happening October 12th. And we just invite folks to go ahead and attend that. There's going to be a lot of great food and great music. So it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. One of the other things that we're also highlighting is just hurricane prep, hurricane prep, hurricane prep. We're just plugging Oahu DEM's website on some of the lists that you folks could reference if you haven't began planning already. And then lastly, on our newsletter, we have Bill 46. Bill 46 is pending legislation, and that one is regarding a vacant homes tax. And so what the council is looking to do is receive some feedback. The next committee meeting that it's going to be on the agenda for is September 25th. And so the initiative is really just to discourage real estate speculation, land banking, mainland investors, and more so to just protect the locals, to address Oahu's housing needs. So one of the things that they're receiving feedback for and asking for feedback for is just different amendments and exemptions. So that way we protect the local families with this vacant homes tax. So that's kind of what's in the newsletter. With regards to the Hau'ula Congressional Church, I did want to let you folks know that I think we were able to get things covered. Our office reached out to DPP and asked for what the latest status was, and I'm so sorry, I don't have the name in front of me, but I did connect with the person representing from Hau'ula Congressional Church. What had happened was DPP had responded to their point of reference at that time. It sounded like it was a contractor or a developer, and they were waiting for revised plans on something with the construction. It sounded like Hau'ula Congressional Church wasn't working with that contractor anymore. And so when DPP had left a message with that individual, they were no longer associated or doing work for Hau'ula Congressional Church. So they weren't getting the message because that middle person, that contractor, just wasn't working with them anymore. So we were able to connect things, and I think that they reignited that conversation to get some things moving for that church.
Okay, just a point of correction is the Congregational Church,
Oh, excuse me, congregational.
not Congressional.
No,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Not me just kind of being all crazy with the debate and all. My apologies.
No, that's okay. Bessie was the one that asked that question, I believe, so we'll be sure, she's not here tonight, so we'll get that information to her. Thank you. I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Are you finished with your presentation?
Yep.
Okay. The question I have is Matt supported a bill related to making changes in the requirements, the job requirements are of a Department of Emergency Management Director.
Mm,
And
okay.
it just so happens that we're going to be getting a new Department of Emergency Management Director, if everybody read the news or saw that. So
Mm-mm.
I'm wondering if that bill passed. I know he and Tommy Waters supported it, but did it pass the whole council?
Oh man, I apologize. Do you happen to have that bill number or for reference for me?
I don't,
Uh,
but you can ask Matt. He'll remember it.
I'll definitely
Um,
bring it up with him tomorrow, Dottie, and maybe I'll give you a call or shoot you an email.
Okay, I was really curious about if they got that through, and I'm hoping they did. And I think it would be a great time to apply that since we are going to be looking at a new person in that position.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Board? First the board? Committee,
Sorry.
come up. State your name.
Evelyn Lane. Could you go over what you said about Turtle Bay? If you, I don't know if I heard you say anything about it. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, sure thing. I haven't gone over it quite yet. I was hoping that Kat maybe would be on because I know some of the follow-up was going to be from mayor's office, but we do have some updates to share with you folks. And it's not probably very favorable if I'm being honest, but I did want to share with you folks that our office is actively monitoring Turtle Bay and we're actively in discussions with DPP. Since we've been to the community meeting that was at Kahuku High School, Matt has been in discussions with DPP, our council attorneys, and obviously some community members like you folks here. And a lot of the request has just been public engagement, transparency, inviting folks out. And so what we understand is that it's clear that any development at Turtle Bay has to comply with the established unilateral agreement and the EIS, right? The environmental impact statement and the special management use permit. Those were all things that were granted prior to our term in office. So it took a little bit for us to really understand what the implications of this was. So we've spoken with DPP and I'm really looking forward to them being on next month. I understand Matt is also going to be joining this meeting next month as well. He's going to try and make it on, but DPP has inspected and confirmed that the current activities at Turtle Bay are within the scope of the property owner's permits. And that's what DPP has let us know. So what we're doing is we're just continuing to assess the different ways to increase community engagement and involvement. So what's really helpful is that every time you folks reach out to us and basically share any development or any activities that might seem a little bit suspicious, every time you do report that to our office, it's really helpful, honestly, for us to follow up with DPP so we get folks out there. And so that's just where we're currently at with the Turtle Bay activities that are currently happening. It does sound like they are currently within the scope of the property owner's permits.
Within what you were saying, waiting for DPP to come out with some information for us. Are they not issuing any further permits besides just the grading permit?
So I think those plans have been permitted already, but it sounds like a lot of the plans that Arete has proposed, those all fall within their vested right, that has already from the plans that have already been approved from the unilateral agreement, from the EIS that's been approved a couple of years ago.
I think that was approved on 10 years ago. And it says in the land use ordinance that if there's been significant change from the time that the EIS was, the secondary EIS was done, that we should have another one. So we can make sure that the needs of our community are being met in this project that they're proposing, not just for the development on the Maconie side, but also for what the host Marriott is doing on the other side. Because the impact of our community is going to be a big deal. And we already have a lot of fire hazards over here. And we really need to have an EIS. And I think that
Could
the
you
city
keep
needs-
this to questions?
Okay, I'm asking if the city doesn't think, if, are they going to issue more permits before the community has a chance to address this in a formal manner?
Chelsea, can you get back to us on that? Because you probably don't know the answer.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I will just say is, and this is from my understanding with council member as well, is that as of right now, the only way for the city to intervene is if the work being done at Turtle Bay violates the law or the terms of the current permits that they have. And they do have vested rights because those those permits have been approved previously. So right now, because we are, like I mentioned, we have tried to communicate with the council attorneys and DPP. You know, the only way that we can revisit or to reopen their SMA at least is if we find anything that is illegal or violates the terms of the current permits. And so we're just going to continue to monitor the situation, and we're going to provide updates as our legal analysis proceeds. That's just sort of the message that I'm hearing from our team here. So we're going to go ahead and give you guys updates along the way, and DPP comes next month, they're going to be able to provide a little bit more details and understanding than what our team might have.
And we will have a presentation tonight. So
Thank you.
some of these questions may be answered tonight.
Oh, neat. Excuse me
you
if I'm
have a comment?
over-speaking for
Yeah.
someone else.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is Sunny Greer. I just wanted to point out, because you brought up the question about the SMA and the supplement and the EIS process. And I'm speaking as a community member, and I graduated from the Richardson School of Law in Native Hawaiian law and environmental law. So when, as a community, we say something like, this is old, like, I think that's the argument we're trying to say, like, since it's old, we need to try to attack it in a different way. But I'm looking at the previous documents, and on July 23, 2022, the environmental notice actually put on notice that DPP additional review and a new SMA are not required for this area, which include, because the final EIS and original SMA permit that was previously done were greater than the environmental impacts of the current proposal. And they made reference to the letter from DPP Dean Uchida, and that was on July 8, 2022. And when
Yeah.
it's in this environmental notice, we have 60 days to comment or to challenge. So, I mean, I'm looking at it like when we say the argument, like it's new, I mean, it's old, like it was given a notice and made reference to that. So I just want to throw it out there that you might want to look at that, because I mean, this has gone through the Supreme Court and so multiple conservation easements. So, I mean, just like Chelsea said, like they are within their rights to abide by the existing permits, the existing unilateral agreements. And when we say like it's old, like we as public had the opportunity to comment. So I'm just throwing it out there, like we
I was talking statement that was over 10 years ago, even though that document was approved, I don't know if there was a public hearing for that actual part. I couldn't tell you because I wasn't there when that was. But
Yeah.
I do know that it does say that we have a chance to address the impacts of the greater community, not the land use for them, but necessarily by our community being affected by what's community. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, anyway, sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Questions, not comments, questions. Thank you. Could you say your name?
My name is Ernie Foster. I'm from the Kahuku Holy Holly. elderly citizens' homes. There's not a representative here that at the last meeting, they were concerned about what was going on at Laie Point and the development that's going on out there with HRI developing that area. But knowing that there's been some neglection by the developers on the development of those homes in that area. And also the question of what's going on about traffic in a particular lane that's going back into that area that's not suitable for that particular development that has been.
Excuse me,
Going on
Ernie, is
for a
this a
while.
question for Matt Wire?
Yep.
Okay,
So just knowing that this is what's going on in this particular community, apparently there wasn't a representative here because I think they gave up on the fact at the last meeting when Brenton Alva told them it's all right for them to accept the fact that what's going on in that development. When there's been a whole bunch of breaking the laws according to what these developers are doing back there at hand.
so can you ask a question? Are
So
you
the
asking?
question is, and this was brought up through Matt Meyer before, and we're wondering what kind of action are you folks taking at your capacity as a council member?
And you're asking about the HRI action in Laie.
At the Laie Point area.
Get that, Chelsea?
Yeah, Laia Point, is this one in regards to, sorry, I'm just familiarizing myself with the issues here. This is the Laia, is this the lane widening? Is this the one with the residents?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so from what I
And-
understand. So from what I understand is we've definitely followed up with DPP and they have conducted inspections at the property. And so from what I understand is DPP's role to date has been to ensure compliance and applicable codes with the permits. We have talked to HRI as well, and we have talked to a few of the residents there from what I understand. And by we, I think I understand it's been Matt and I think Kelly has been taking the lead on it. So I could definitely follow up with questions with the both of them. Our office has offered to facilitate a meeting as needed between the ownership of the lane that they're widening, but with HRI and their permits to do the work that they're doing, from what I understand, those permits have been approved. But as far as the ownership and the shared ownership between what's been going on, that's a little bit out of the council's ability to intervene with that specifically, but our office definitely has offered to facilitate a meeting between the parties directly involved. So that's kind of what we're working on, Ernie. And it's really nice to hear from you. Thanks for the question.
Another question?
I just want to clarify, HRI actually put out a notice about this project. And they really, other than the grading, the project has not been approved. And they will have to go through these processes. And they have said that when they're ready with their presentation, they will take it before LCA and the Ko'olauloa Neighborhood Board. So I just wanted to let you know,
LCA is who?
like EA Community Association and then to the Neighborhood Board. So they've been pretty upfront about what the status was. I mean, it's quite a lengthy print, okay? Just to clarify, Chelsea.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, all of the context is really appreciative, you guys. Thank you.
Any other questions for Chelsea online?
Casey,
Question, Casey, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Chelsea. First off, can you tell us, we're hearing that, what are you doing to shut down the illegal vacation rentals? We're hearing that towns like Anchorage has just required Airbnb, VRBO to make their make known their their accounting. So so many people have been renting for less than 30 days on our side. And the second thing I'd like to ask, and do you know what the population growth has been in Kolauloa in the last 5 to 10 years? I mean, it's growing tremendously.
Mhm.
And before, as I had mentioned another time,
Excuse me,
what is
Casey.
how can we evacuate? What is the emergency evacuation on the highway? In 2012, we were bumper to bumper with the tsunami alert, and particularly in Punaluu and Hauula. We couldn't get out. Now the road has grown, the population and vehicles have grown tremendously. Who's looking into this? Could you look into this? Look into the population, the growth, and how we can what are the criteria for emergency evacuation? Because if it's quicker, a tsunami or a fire is quicker, we're all going to get stuck on Camp Highway. So who is looking into this? Can you look into this, please? Thank you.
Excuse me, Casey, in the future, please stick to the question, okay? That will be
Okay,
very
what-
helpful.
All right,
Go ahead, Chelsea.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have answers for these questions, so I appreciate the opportunity to follow up on it.
Okay. Any other questions for Chelsea? Andrea, please go ahead. Andrea, can you hear me? Did you have a question? Let's go to somebody else if she's not. We don't hear anybody, Andrea, so we're going to. Okay, Andrea, you can go ahead. You're muted.
It shows you, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. Okay, I keep getting disconnected. Anyway, we may have had an opportunity to comment by a notice, an environmental notice, that was in 2022, but I would like to ask what that means for, hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay.
I was just gonna ask, tell us which place you're talking about. Is it Turtle Bay?
Yes, Turtle Bay.
Okay.
The notice that Sunny Greer, I think it was asking about or telling us about in 2022. Now, my information or whatever usually does say that it requires coming to the neighborhood board first and talking about things publicly, before you start breaking ground, which they've already done at Turtle Bay, apparently behind this dust, the dust curtains or whatever they're called, which could have, for all I know, done things to where the albatross nests are or whatever. We're getting this through DPP, who has been pretty questionable, I think, all along here. But, if it came out in an environmental notice in 2022, it still should have come through neighborhood board and talked to community, that a REACH collective, they should have done that. Don't you think? Isn't that part of the process? I'm asking Wyer's office. I think that he should get a resolution actually up about several things here that, they may have had some entitlements, but they should have been back here talking to the community.
I see. I definitely hear you. And I'm going to follow up on this because the truth is, with the processes and the revisions that have been made along the way, from what I understand, from their original plans, they have, with the revised plans, they have sort of drawn back on how much they would develop. So I don't know if that would warrant going through the formal processes of being in front of the neighborhood board, but let me check back with our team and let me find that out because I don't exactly know why that was. So I appreciate the opportunity to follow up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? No more questions from the community. Quick, Evelyn.
Sorry, I'm online, but I can't figure out how to raise my hand. But I just wanted to share just a comment. I think that what I'm hearing from
Go ahead, Sunny.
Oh, okay. I think that what I'm hearing from the community is that based on the environmental assessment being done like 10 years ago, shouldn't there have been opportunity for the public to give voice to whether or not a new environmental assessment is needed? And I know Sunny Greer had mentioned something about that has already kind of been approved in DPP in 2022. And based on our experience in Kohuku, I think there are some challenges with the community being informed and notified on what filings are taking place at DPP. And I noted in the chat, for example, that the community was not aware that AES had submitted to DPP a variance request to put these turbines, much closer than what the legal law was. And so therefore, because we didn't know that, we missed the deadline to comment. So, I think that's what some of the public or our community members are maybe feeling a little bit frustrated that, they didn't know maybe perhaps that there was this filing that happened in 2022 and therefore missed that opportunity to perhaps raise any questions or concerns to DPP or to the developer at that time. And this is kind of an overall systemic issue that maybe needs to be addressed, right? Like what is considered sufficient public notice to the community when developers, come in with filings or with variance requests or permit applications for development permits that happened long time ago. So anyways, I just wanted to share that thought. It is a challenging system for the community, and I just wanted to just share that it may not be as easy to be aware of those filings because more often than not our community has our work and they're not really paying attention to all the filings that are happening in DPP. So
Okay, thank you, Sunny. Any other questions? Chelsea, thank you very much.
Oh, is there another question?
Yeah, one more.
Okay.
Josie? Did you have a question?
Yes, Lucy Abinagio, board member. It seems to me that there seems to be a lot of good intentions, confusion and misinformation. I was just curious. I was looking at your Department of Planning and Permitting. You have a director, a deputy director, and a second deputy director. I think it would be very useful so that when I'm all over the place, that if they can be invited to attend, so they are in the position to make to guide us in the right directions as far as why, ifs, because, etc. So is this something that is possible?
They're actually coming next month.
Oh, well,
DPP will be
my
here.
question is moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead. Appreciate you being on tonight. Okay. What? Oh, did you have a question? Oh, okay. Okay, next is U.S. House of Representative Jill Takuta's rep.
Hi,
Got anybody?
hey everyone.
Okay.
Kendra Oishi for Congresswoman Jill Takuta. I believe that we circulated our monthly newsletter to the board, so hopefully you received that. Just a few additional points. So Rep. Takuta spent most of August in the district meeting with constituents and attending a variety of events. Most of September, she'll be in DC. They are now focusing on the House taking up appropriation bills before the end of the fiscal year, the federal fiscal year, which ends at the end of this month, September. And also just wanted to put in a plug that our office is now receiving applications for those who are interested in seeking, high school students interested in seeking a nomination to military service academies. And more information can be found on our website, and I'll drop that in the chat. And happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board and in person here? Any questions online, from board members? Any questions from the community? Okay, any questions from the community online? I don't see any, so we'll, thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank you.
that. Okay. Okay, next is Governor's Representative Crystal Fiona. Is she on? Let me say that. Okay, Crystal, we'll go ahead to State Senator Brenton Awa. Are you on, Brenton? Is it Elizabeth?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
It's Elizabeth. Elizabeth, yes, we can hear you.
Oh, great. Okay. Good evening, Chair, members of the board, and members of the community. I'm Elizabeth Tabake, here to deliver this month's report on behalf of Senator Awa. As many of you know, this interim, we've been working closely with different agencies and the community to develop effective strategies for mitigation on the CRB infestation. Recently, our team, along with communities, successfully planted not specifically in Kalaulua, but 60 dwarf coconut trees in Haleiwa. We're looking to hopefully do something similar in Kalaulua. These trees are protected with netting. We planted them and then covered them with netting, and we have plans in place with the community and different agencies to maintain them. Looking ahead, we hope to implement, as I mentioned, similar efforts in the Kalaulua community soon. Our goal is to work together as a community to combat the invasive pests. In addition to the tree planting, we are planning to lay traps that we have received from the Department of Agriculture around the community. These traps will help lure and capture the CRBs, providing us with valuable data and hopefully reducing their numbers in the area. As I think Senator Awa was here last month, we don't have any updates to his report that he gave last month. We're still currently working on some different things that we'll be able to reach out to the board members about. But pretty much that's it. If there's any questions or concerns, I can take back with me to Senator Awa.
Any questions from the board? I have a question. You said who plans to put trees in Ka'ula at some point, and what kind of trees and where?
It's right now we're currently, I think up next we have a Huimanu. And right now, really, it'll be whatever trees that are available. We've definitely been trying to stay away from like anything that would be considered cash crops, but we've also got to look at the different type of soils and just the environment. We did get some pushback from the city, so we were going to do it. He was planning on doing it at the Hula Beach Park, but we got a little bit pushback from the city, so that's still on the table, but not confirmed. Um, we're still looking, so we don't have a confirmed area just yet.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions from anyone online?
I have a question. This is Andrea.
Wait a minute, was there someone before you, Andrea? Who was that?
Linnell,
Linnell?
yeah, Linnell Damate. Since Elizabeth brought up that subject about what Senator Brenton Awa has done in the Haleiwa area with the planting of the coconut trees and I think a few ulu trees in between. I'm just curious, even with the netting, maybe Senator Awa would or should have put more thought and effort into mitigating ways how his office can help to mitigate the CRBs before planting that Ono coconut for them. So it's just to me, who I live out here, and I've seen the devastation that these CRBs are creating for these coconut tree owners, and I just think it's a little bit backwards. He should have tried a little bit harder to help the different agencies to combat the CRBs. And and another question, Mr. Tofi Tavake. I think it would have been nice if Senator Awa would have been more visible at the meetings that's held on the North Shore area. Anyway, that's just my point of view, but I hear the talk out this side, and we haven't seen him, and he has sent out representative here and there, maybe 2 or 3 times to our meetings, but that would have been a very good thing if he did, let the community know that that he was going to go ahead and plant these trees, because there would have been some kind of feedback from the community as to, the things that he's undertaken out this side. So be careful, Haula side, if you want more of those trees in your community, or do you want more effort done to mitigate the CRBs? Thank you.
Thank you. Who was the next person? I'm picking?
Andrea.
Andrea, did you have a question or comment?
Yes,
Right.
as a senator, I believe possibly it's going to be Ben Schaefer, but that would be good also. But I believe both of them or whatever should be bringing up to things to do with Turtle Bay about and DOT use of Kamehameha Highway in the last 5 years that's been occurring, and the extreme erosion occurring on the road of Kamehameha Highway that is also now has become to make it barely viable in some places. And a lot of work that should have been done is only going to be still done in a bandage applied fashion for 15,000 square feet or linear feet, excuse me, from my lot, excuse me, Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization attendance. They are very overusing our highway that people need to get to and from schools and doctors and everything else to do this building. I think that these trucks that we see going by through Kaava, where the road is barely viable now, are just hammering it and making it even more likely that we won't have a road. That's something I think is not considered quite well enough, by the developers or by the state, whoever's, but this, the speakers for us are the senators and the representatives, and I hope that they pay attention to that part of it. We have great need of, it becomes hazardous to the community to have so much time spent on scary roads where they look like they're going to fall in some places. On the lane nearest the ocean, I don't think people are really cognizant of what's going on, apparently. However, our representatives are who are going to have to be putting the pressure on the DOT. So I'd like to have that noted is all. Thank you.
Okay, so that was noted. Okay, any other questions? Senator Awa.
Yes. Yes. Do you want me to speak, Dottie, or wait?
Is it a question? Let's make it clear.
Yes.
Question.
I had asked before, if it is possible, because so many of the illegal vacation rentals are not paying their taxes, or hotel tax. Is it possible that the senator can look into that?
That's a good question. So did you get it? Senator Awad, correct?
Yeah, thank you, Casey. I've noted that down.
Okay.
I will take that back with me.
Okay. Okay, any other questions for Senator Awad? Okay, we'll go on to the next representative. Okay, State House Representative Sean Quinlan, are you on here?
Yes, I am. Aloha, everyone. Good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead, Sean.
so we have gotten a number of complaints about commercial activity at Punalu'u Beach Park that's been interfering with people fishing, traditional gathering rights. We finally got an answer back from Department of Parks recently, and they very clearly stated that there are no commercial permits issued for Punalu'u Beach Park. Now, folks can still use the ocean to teach surfing, but they cannot do it on the beach. They cannot walk across the beach with their clients. So if you see that kind of activity, please call HPD or take a picture and let my office know. Try not to get into any altercations with these folks. I don't want anybody to get in trouble, but just try and let our office or the police handle it. In the long term, I'm working with DLNR. I've asked them to not renew any ocean permits for that area. It is, so this is one of these funny quirks of government. If we cancel their permit, they have the opportunity to bring a contested case, which could tie us up for a long time. If we simply wait until their permits expire and do not renew them, they don't have an avenue to contest. So that's what we're going for. I think one of the permits expires in December and never in April, but I will have my staff email you guys the exact timelines for those permits so that you folks know. Longer term, DLNR clearly needs tools for what I call adaptive management. So we will be reintroducing a bill on adaptive management for next year, which allows them to make decisions without having to go before the board, which can take 18 months plus. And respond very quickly to community concerns, because that's what we want. I mean, if we see something we don't like, why should we have to wait 2 years for someone to do something about it? So we've got to get them on this path of adaptive management. I've gotten a lot of complaints about e-bikes in both directions. So depending on who calls, e-bikes are either a scourge or the new wave of transportation. The problem we have right now is that the state laws regarding e-bikes are outdated and out of compliance with federal regulations. Currently, it is illegal for anyone under the age of 16 to ride an e-bike in any capacity. And by city ordinance, it is not legal to ride e-bikes on city bike paths. So we plan to come in with a fix in January to at least address the state side of it. And hopefully we can work with our colleagues on the council to kind of clean up this mess, because so many phone calls about people almost getting hit and worried about the kids' safety, because these things can go pretty darn fast. And last but certainly not least, Turtle Bay. So my office did send a letter to DPP a few days ago requesting that if they can, to delay issuing any further permits for the development at Turtle Bay, to simply give the community time to digest the unilateral agreement, to understand the way all these different agreements, laws, and ordinances interact. I think, part of the anger and the frustration is that people feel like they weren't given enough warning, whether or not. So anyway, that's what I've been hearing. So we made that request.
Okay, thank you. Any
And
questions?
that is my report.
Okay, any questions for Sean from the board? Go ahead.
Sean, this is Lorraine. Thank you for Punalu'u Beach Park. Appreciate your efforts greatly. We were also told that our siren, Punalu'u's emergency siren, that it would be fixed by the end of this year. Do any of our elected officials have an update on that? Because we've heard nothing back. And in December, it will be 2.5 years that our community has had no siren.
Yeah, so I was told in the spring of this year that it would be August. And now I'm being told that there's an issue with procurement and there's some special part. And I don't want to speak out of turn and I don't have my files with me, but let me just make a note here and I will get you guys the information as soon as I can. But it is incredibly frustrating. And maybe we just need to find a different vendor at this point, because if it takes them that long to replace these parts, I don't know what to say.
Mahalo. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Any other questions from the board on the line? Huh?
Dottie, I have a question to Sean for Sean. Sean, were you able to find out about the no parking signs by Gunstock?
We have not gotten a response yet. We submitted that request fairly recently. I believe Ella brought it up at Howell Community Association, but sometimes it takes DOT a while to get back to us. So sorry about that. But as soon as we hear back, we did make the point to them that when they put in the speed humps, they told us that a big part of the justification was that the community had asked for more parking back. And they told me, well, you guys want more parking, we have to slow down the average speed first. So, okay, they slowed down the average speed, but where's our parking? So as soon as I hear back, I will let you guys know.
Thank you.
Andrea, what's your question?
Yes. Hi. Hi, Sean. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Good. I just wanted to know if Kaava Beach Park, I know you're not our person now, but was that mentioned with the Punaluu one? Because Punaluu is, they don't want the things, but we have been inundated. People in Kaava Community Association Tuesday night were all upset because there's buses, like maybe 10, 12 a day, pulling up with wedding photography and just, models or whatever, and carrying on there in front of the school and along our beach.
Well, first of all, let me say I cannot believe that they took Kaava away from me in reapportionment. Like,
I can't either.
it's just none of this makes any sense. Let me work with your current representative to figure that out. We're also trying to give new tools to both DoCare and HPD, so it makes it easier for them to pull up these permits. So we're trying to, at least on my side, I gave DLNR $1 million 2 years ago to start digitizing, to have a digital system for all these permits. Maybe we need to do the same for HPD so we can have better beach park enforcement. I mean, they should be able to pull up on some kind of mobile app on their phone, the officers, and very quickly make a determination of whether or not somebody has a permit. But I'll work with Rep. Kitagawa and I will get back to you.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Okay, Casey, please, very quick. You have a question?
Okay, thank you, Sean. Are you going to be reintroducing the carrying capacity study this year? You were doing it there in the tourist committee because of over tourism and housing, but there's also, with all this building, especially in Laie Kahuku, concerns about emergency evacuation on narrow Kamehameha Highway. Is it possible? I don't know if that's a different bill, but I know you're looking into writing bills now. And are you able to help with the Laie Ocean Tide that and DPP too? It seems like they're putting in all these permits that don't quite make sense for our side. So many, Kahuku, Marconi, this, and didn't know if you're able to help with that, because it just seems like overbuilding, and on the ocean side where climate change coming and emergency evacuation, all that kind of thing. Thanks for keeping us up to date.
Thank you. I have been talking to Faye. Oh, can you guys still hear me? One of my AirPods just went out. Okay. I have been speaking to Faye Fukuyama about sort of the events that have been taking place on her lane. There was an initial NOV or stop work issued by the DPP. They later went back and checked their records. They found that everything was technically in order. So I do think that lane will end up being widened. Whether or not the whole project goes through is another story. I know that Faye desperately wants to save her plumeria tree. So that's I know this sounds really silly, but I mean, these things do matter. I mean, to me at least. So that's my immediate goal. Carrying capacity, we are studying the biological carrying capacity of the Sharks Cove Waimea area, because it is ecologically sensitive and a marine life conservation district. Based off of the 2020 census, our population didn't change a ton. But as you know from your days of point in time counts, censuses, whether they're of residents or homeless people, are not always accurate because they depend on the people carrying out the census and also the people responding. So I can talk to DPP, too many acronyms. I can talk to DOT tomorrow and see if we can't get some kind of a traffic count to compare to historical data, and I will get back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sean. I'm sorry. Make it very quick. That was 10 minutes. We've got to shorten this.
This is regarding the conservation area, Sharks Cove area. I'm wondering if the state has anything that they can do to help deal with the homeless that are now sleeping all over the strip between Sharks Cove and Pupukea Beach Park.
So it depends on where they are. But generally speaking, homeless enforcement is a function of the city. If you can even, in other words, if they're in violation of ordinances, if you can email me or let me know, and I'll put my email in the chat, let me know where they are. I will try and have the governor's office on homelessness reach out to those folks. But if we're going to sweep them, that is the Kuleana of HPD. But I'm happy to help, of course.
Linnell, can you make this very quick? Thank you.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Sean, since you're, Sean, hi, this is Linnell.
Hi, Linnell.
Hi, since you're having that meeting with DOT, I take it that you'll be speaking with Ed Sniffen?
I don't know if I would speak specifically with Ed Sniffen. I'm going to ask for a meeting with DOT to talk about a traffic count. And if they tell me, no, we don't want to do that, then I might have to introduce legislation, either a bill or a resolution to get it done.
Okay, so.
Because they might just tell me they don't want to do it. Wouldn't be the first time.
So I was wondering if maybe you could do a startup conversation with that department regarding the erosion all along, coastal erosion all along Hauula, all the way through Punalu'u. And that if people have noticed on the commercials on TV, they've been presenting these really cool structures that can be put into the ocean and that will slow down the wave action hitting the shoreline. And we had a study done by an engineering team from UH out at Waile'e. Maybe you might remember that. It was put on by the North Shore Community Land Trust. Cavella had spearheaded that. If Ed could look into, the department could look into that and get the get UH on board. I mean, it is they are our university. If they could get their students together, do the same kind of study and see what resources they could provide to help mitigate the coastal erosion. I mean, they have some very fascinating ideas, fascinating plans. I mean, I remember at one of Ed Sniffen's interviews on television, he was very, to me, very callous in his saying that, oh, it's only a $50,000 fix every time there's the road drops to the ocean. I think they need to be a little more proactive and figure out how to address these kinds of effects from climate change, the wave action. I mean, there are people out there that's been doing this and has been all across the globe have been successful using some of these programs, using some of these ideas to address the same issues that we have.
Excuse
So,
me, now, we need to wind and close this up.
okay, so in other words, can you sort of, put that on the table? Put it in your own words, have DOT do that study and how we can help out Hauula and Punolu'u.
Okay, I'm going to talk
Thank
really fast so Dottie doesn't yell at me. There was a study in 2018 by DOT. They have identified the problem. They look at the 20 most critically endangered spots of the coastal highway. 8 of the top 20 are between Waialua and Waiahole. Of those, 78 are on Ko'olaloa side of Turtle Bay. We're aware of the problem, but Linnell is correct. We need to seek better, newer, more innovative solutions, and we will get on that. And thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sean, I think you just set a record, 14 minutes and 26 seconds. So we've got to make it shorter. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank
I
you,
apologize.
Sean.
Okay, board business is next, I believe. And so we have a board letter regarding the inclusion of communities in planning and installation of speed bumps. Alfred,
Yep.
are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we discussed as a board, so Alfred Lee, board member for Laie. We discussed this a couple of months ago prior to our summer break.
Right.
So right before our last meeting in July, I put out another draft. So I had an initial draft, took in feedback from one meeting, and the following meeting put out another revision incorporating everybody's feedback. And so that's what was sent out back in July. So this is a draft letter that we are proposing to send to community leaders, state leaders, governments regarding, it's officially a formal letter from our Ko'olaloa Neighborhood Board expressing our concerns and disappointment that we were not included, that the community was not included in any of the discussion for placement of speed humps, the number of speed humps. And asking for them to include community voice, inclusion of community voices as part of that. So the proposal here is hopefully everybody, the board has a chance to reread it. If it looks good, then we have Anson send it out to.
So do we have to vote on it?
Yes, that's for.
Can I make a comment?
Oh.
Can I make a comment? It says it only deals with the speed tables between Kahuku and Laie, but wouldn't it be beneficial to include the number of speed bumps in our entire Ko'olaloa district?
Yes.
Rather than just that,
No. So it says a disappointment regarding the number of speed humps.
especially between Laie.
Yeah, well, that's the most concentrated,
In that
but it is across the entire Ko'olaloa area, but especially the concentration in Laie to Kahuku. That's the most concentrated, which we feel is unfair. Nowhere else on the island do they have such a concentration of speed humps and speed tables.
And Kualoa Ranch isn't part of us, because I was going to say there's also private Kualoa, right? So
There is.
wouldn't
Kualoa Ranch is
Kualoa
in
Ranch?
Kualoa.
It is,
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
it
and
is
that's why I
five.
was thinking there's 5, I believe.
I
Yeah.
think we have seven between Laie to Kahuku. But yes, it's
Okay, I just wanted to
I'll
clarify.
just
follow.
add one comment. I really support this letter. I went to the federal funding summit that Ed Sniffen actually coordinated a few weeks, maybe a month ago. I mentioned this issue to him face to face. And he just looked at me and says, we don't care what you all think. We're just going to do it. We know save lives. And I was just kind of blown away by that remark, especially the beginning of it. And so I would just be a little bit stronger in my emphasis, if there's a way to do that, that he knows that we're very upset and the community is very upset at being ignored about these speed bumps. We brought it up with his staff here at our meeting. And I would just ask you to just strengthen it a little bit that way.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have a comment, Alfred. I would also like to see in this letter some mention that this slows emergency vehicles,
Yes.
which only have one route to get to our communities quickly in case of a fire or medical emergency.
I think I did put that in.
I'm just scanning it as Anson is scrolling through. I didn't see it, but
I thought I did, but maybe I did not.
I don't see it.
Maybe I did. Okay, yep, I can put it in there.
In terms of just making it a little bit stronger, we might add something that underlines the fact that this has been a topic of conversation almost every month at our neighborhood board. People's concerns for a whole variety of reasons. So
also I would like to see evidence that this actually does save lives. I want to know if they've done a study
that's
or
good.
some kind of scientific evidence that installing speed humps reduces fatal traffic incidents on a stretch of area.
I support that.
I think we should.
This is just a board.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is, read it and send me comments because this has been every single, since July. You guys may have comments now, but it was sent out by Anson in July.
I didn't get
I
it.
didn't get it either.
You sent it, I received it. It was from Patney and also Anson, so. I have.
Who?
How many?
Andrea. No, not right now. This is a board discussion.
Just
Sorry,
between light
Andrea.
and cuckoos.
Okay,
Yep.
so is,
Comments can come directly to me. I have notes from what we've just discussed.
okay,
But if you have additional comments, Anson can send it one more time out to the board and just say, open for comments, and then we'll vote on it this next.
next time, okay, okay.
And I won't.
Can I make a motion to defer this until our next KNB meeting, please?
Second it,
I do have one question. I know this is a board thing, but is the community allowed to submit written questions regarding this to help solidify and maybe reinforce?
send their own letters?
No.
I think we should do a board, I think we
Okay.
should do a board letter saying we are representing our communities.
Yeah, it's a,
Concerns.
yeah, yep.
How many front end of both?
Or sponsors.
What?
Second.
I seconded it. Oh,
Just deferring this to next month.
right,
Yes.
okay, thank you. Now we have presentations coming up and who are our presenters tonight? We have Conservation Easement. Presenter Deputy AG Julie China. Is she online? Department of Land and Natural Resources.
Rubenstein, I'm gonna presentation. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
thank you. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Tanya Rubenstein, and I'm with the Division of Forestry and Wildlife, Department of Land and Natural Resources. Also on the call, we have Julie China, I believe, who's our Attorney General Division. And I'll try to share my screen. I have a short presentation just to give you folks an overview of the conservation easement.
Excuse me, Tanya, just one mention. This is a 8-minute presentation, okay? So let's.
Correct.
Go ahead. Okay.
Correct.
Go
I
ahead.
have to figure out how to share my screen. Here we go. Okay. So can you see the screen?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Easement at Turtle Bay. The easement was finalized in 2015, and it's held by the state of Hawaii. It's 634 acres of the private land at Turtle Bay. And the easement restricts the development in the easement area, protects wetlands and coastal habitats for native plants and wildlife, such as water birds, albatross, monk seal. Protects open space, recreational public access to coastal sites, and cultural and historic sites. And easement essentially has 3 zones to it: the preservation zone, which is in dark green, and the recreation zone, which is the light pink purple trails, and open space zone, which is the light green. So the areas in brown are not included in the contract. That's still part of the resort. Area on the left is state lands on the way. So conservation zone is 105 acres, includes Kahuku Point and the coastal habitat and sand dunes, as well as native water bird habitat. Zone is about 1.5 acres. I think about 8 miles of trails available for the public. For biking as well. And the open space zone is the largest zone. It's 462 acres. It's primarily golf course and other golf course areas. The goals in the open space zone are just to preserve open space, views, drainage ways, public right-of-ways, and the golf course area. Some of the benefits of the community are the trails and the parking available, and as well as permanent protection of native species habitat and open space. Development in the preservation zone and recreation zone is prohibited, and there's restrictions on new structures and infrastructure with approval by the state required within other parts of the easement area. Easement annually to make sure so if there's any questions, I can try to answer them, or I will also possibly have Julie or Ian answer some questions too.
Can we please get a copy of this sent to us?
Would you like
Okay.
the presentation or the easement?
We'd like to see at the presentation. That would be great.
Okay, yeah, I can send it to you. You'll have to give me the address of where you want it sent.
And since Doug put it in the chat. Right?
Yep.
Okay, so are there any questions from the board? Board online, board here? No, not yet. Any questions from the community here in person?
Evelyn Lane.
Question.
Evelyn Lane. I'm asking about the shoreline easement at the point where the developer is dividing by the path and the cart path where they've cleared out. There's an area there that is an inundation area where the water comes up over the beach and into the pit that they're building their development in. And I'm wondering how long our easement will still be available for us as they get washed out and we lose our shoreline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a good question. I don't know, Ian, are you still online? Do you have any, can you help me with that answer?
You want to get back to
Julie? Yeah, I might have to get back to you on that. I would probably talk to our folks at the Office of Conservation and Coastal Lands about, sea level rise.
Coastal erosion. Yeah.
Ian's there, but he can't unmute.
Next to Mike. He's next to Michael.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oops. He's the right. He's right.
He's on the bottom.
He's on next.
He's over to the right, our right.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, he has to unmute himself. Okay, other questions from the community, online or in person? Ella?
Hello. I would just like to know, from the presenter, if they are planning to stop construction from 7 to 12 weeks after a monk seal gives birth on the beach that was shown was Elbow Beach. And that is one of our big monk seal birthing areas. So I would just like to know if they're prepared for that.
Well, is the monk seal is the monk seal in the area that they are built?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the monks, any kind of monk seal interactions would be with doe care if there's any problems with monk seals or in the development area. So that's not something that the easement necessarily regulates. That would be endangered species issue.
Is that something you're going to be working out a process for?
I mean, if there's an endangered species in the area, people should report it to the enforcement people.
Tanya, when a monk seal gives birth, they don't leave that beach for 7 to 12 weeks. When the mom leaves the pup stays in the area for another 5 to 6 weeks. That is a dangerous area for a baby.
So what I don't understand is that in the area that they're developing.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
On the beach. Ella, is it on the beach that we're talking about, or do the monk seals come off the beach into the grassy areas?
They come up into the grassy area. They do come up to shoreline. When we rope them off, we rope off at least 150 feet, sometimes bigger, depending on the where the seal has been going, and we expand it as they need it.
Well, I can talk to the enforcement people about it. Is the seal there now?
They have not given birth yet, but it's going to be birthing season soon. So I'm just saying, are they prepared to stop construction for the amount of time it's going to take to clear the beach area? Because any construction will disrupt the monk seal and the mom and the pup.
So maybe there's a way that you all can meet or on Zoom or discuss this, to work this out. Different possibilities.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to find out more about it and talk to the enforcement folks and see what they can do.
Okay, let's go on. Okay, quick questions from who's next? Angela?
Hi, thank you. Good to see everybody. I just wanted to ask Tanya, when was the last annual review of the conservation easement? And also, have you been working with Arate on the golf courses because they have plans for redesigning the golf courses with new roads and stuff? So I was just wondering, have you seen what they're trying to do and is it okay?
We haven't gotten any plans or requests for approvals from the new developer. We were last there monitoring in December. And then the land, I think the resort switched hands. It was sold in July. So that's what we have.
And how much information do you have on their plans? Like tonight, you didn't show what they're planning to do on that.
Right. I don't have any, they haven't given me any information on what their plans are. It's my understanding that it's not in the easement area, that it's outside the easement area.
Yeah, but they're going through the easement area. They're running their trucks, their construction trucks through the golf course. There's quite a lot going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm going to follow up and meet with them to try to find out more about what their plans are.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, quickly, we need another question from Andrea. Andrea. She wasn't. Yeah. Andrea, did you have a question? Let's go ahead to the next question. Who was the next person?
Casey.
Casey, question quickly.
So, quickly, so the developer was able to move ahead and start developing without DLNR knowing their plans or looking at what they were doing? Secondly, do you have plans for the climate change? The habitat will change as the shoreline recedes. So do you have plans for that already and know where the building is and the habitats? And third, I understand there are additional endangered species that have not been taken into account in this. And have you been looking into that? Mahalo.
Thank you. Thank you. Any responses?
Okay, those were three very fast questions. So
Bobby wants me to go fast.
So as far as the endangered species, we haven't surveyed that area where they're developing for endangered species. I'm not sure if Fish and Wildlife has looked into this too. I've tried to put the developer in touch with Fish and Wildlife as well for the endangered species issues. What was your first question?
They were allowed to proceed without you knowing their plans or surveying the area. Is that correct?
They were allowed to proceed because they're not working in the easement area.
Okay, and no one surveyed if there were other endangered species there?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay, and that's not what you're supposed to do.
No, not in the area that's not part of the conservation easement, which is where they're developing.
Right. Who's supposed to do that?
I think that's part of their permitting process. And yeah, you bring up a good point about the changing climate conditions and the like erosion. So that's a good point that I don't have a good answer for. So I'll have to look into that because obviously the coastline is going to be changing as climate change occurs and sea level rises.
Can we go to the next question with Andrea?
Yes, thank you. Is it possible to do a stop work order now just to prevent all the damage that sounds like they're likely to be making?
Julie, are you on?
Julie?
AG. Yeah, I mean, I can talk to the AG about it, but it's my understanding they're not doing work in the easement area so that we don't have jurisdiction over where they're working.
Well, we just went through this not very far away
Mhm.
from this site, you know, with the albatross. You know, the albatross and the
Mhm.
messing up all of the bees and the alpaca and everything in the whole area, like about what, couple hundred feet away from this area.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, no, I've recommended that they work with Fish and Wildlife Service to determine if there's any endangered species in the area.
Excuse me, Linnell has a question, and Linnell, can you make that very quick?
Oh, yes. So Tanya, where on your mapping you showed and you spoke about drainage. So where does that drainage go out to?
There's a bunch of different drainage.
So eventually all of that goes out to the ocean?
Look at the map. There's there I
Yes,
think like
because
there's like
during
3
the
main
rainy
drainages on the
season-
property.
And where does it lead? Where does the drainage lead to? So it does end up in the ocean. So a lot of that erosion caused by the heavy rains throughout the Turtle Bay property, and you can
Mhm.
tell that because Cam Highway becomes flooded badly, right? And the farms. So all of that will traverse through the property, through the conservation area, picking up a whole bunch of caca all the way down to the ocean. And as we all know, that whole area, including the conservation area, the reefs will be affected by it, because we all know that once silt and the runoff and all the junk that's brought down through the drainage system will end up on the reefs. And the reefs are very delicate ecosystem. And if that becomes damaged in any way, then all other wildlife, marine wildlife, will be heavily impacted. So I'm just curious. I hope there is a plan to, you know, I don't know. It's a natural thing that go out to the ocean, but we got a lot of caca that comes down. They'll be draining into the ocean. So someone needs to look into that, please. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions here? Okay. I have one question. Have you looked at nature-based solutions for dealing with that last question? Maybe putting that water into ponds on your site? Or something to that effect. Linnell? Not Linnell.
Yeah, no, I'm not an engineer or a water management specialist, so
Yeah.
we haven't been looking into that. That would be part of the development plans.
Yeah.
That hopefully that.
Did they answer the question that was asked about,
So sorry.
One more
There was a-
question.
There was a question that was asked of you about whether or not, they could proceed without, whether there could be a moratorium put on the building. That's at this time until we can have some more information.
stop work order.
I think she said it's not in her jurisdiction. It's just, okay. Any other, we'd like to close this part of the session if there are no other questions. And I think we have a lot to consider. And then we'd like to go ahead and, was there any last statement from DLNR?
No, thank you very much for your questions and comments, and I'll definitely talk when I have a chance to meet with the developers and bring some of these issues up.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And does Jessica Dos Santos online?
Yes, I mean.
Jessica, you have 1 minute. Go ahead. Oh.
She's a presenter.
Not a second. This is all part of the same presentation?
Oh, no, this is
No,
separate.
this is
Oh, it's
separate.
separate.
This is
Okay, go ahead, Jessica.
Just-
I'm sorry. Jessica.
Yes. Are you guys gonna share my slides? I'm so sorry, I'm sick, so you're gonna have to bear with my voice. I can share my slides if you want me to, but someone said they were gonna.
8 minutes. We started 8.
Jessica, this is 8 minutes maximum. And that includes
Okay,
discussion?
try.
Okay.
But is somebody gonna share my slides?
If you have 45 slides, you're not going to be able to do that in 8 minutes. I know.
I can do this. I can do this, but I need the slides. Okay, thank you. Can
Okay.
you full screen?
I
Can you do
am
a full?
timing it. I am timing it, okay?
Okay, I need it full screen, please. Click on slideshow.
Slideshow on the top.
Click on slideshow. Yeah, thank you.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, all right. My name is Jessica Dos Santos. I presented this at the Kahuku Community Association meeting on July 16th, 2024. Next, please. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, go back. Yeah, so I was born and raised in Kahuku, class of 97. I was on the Whenua Coalition board for a number of years, Kahuku Community Association, and also the Turtle Bay Cultural Advisory Committee. And next. So I want to just share basic information, and the important thing is to have community members know about the feedback form that we're trying to circulate so that we can give feedback to both Kahuku Community Association as well as the developer next. Please, next. Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so there have been a lot of owners over the years. Blackstone was the previous owner. That they were the parent company. BRE is the manager, and that's when it was branded as Turtle Bay. They purchased the hotel property in 2017, and since then, you guys all know about the legal agreements. Next, please. Okay, yeah. So next, you guys already saw that map. All right, you guys already know this. So something to keep in mind is that the developers do still have the rights to develop legally by on H1, H2, RR3. Those areas are not included in the conservation easement agreement. Next.
All right.
Next. Yeah, so no, go back. Back, please. Oh my gosh, I should just share on my end. No, back. Back. Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
You can't go. What? No, I need you to go back. No, you're going forward. Go back, please. Oh my gosh, I should just share it. Okay, so the back, up. Okay, there. So no, down. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there are two new developers. Obviously, we're trying to figure out between host and Arete who has what obligations under the unilateral agreement. And so why don't I just go forward to the unilateral agreement? Go forward. Yeah, so Arete, yeah, there we go. So this is a map of the development site. You can see the green dust fence on the right-hand side, and on the left-hand side, you can see the exact areas of RR3 and H2 that the Arete purchased. Next. And they already have, yeah, so the permit links are there. You guys can access it. Yep, you can get a copy of the, for sure. Next. Next. Okay, so why do these developments matter to our community? Traffic is at crisis levels. Infrastructure capacity, obviously Kamehameha Highway. The new condo owners will technically be able to be eligible to become KCA members under the current KCA bylaws. All of the things that people have already mentioned, especially sea level rise, and community voice and community benefits. So next. So there are 11 endangered or protected threatened species in the area, which include the honu, the Hawaiian monk seal, the Laysan albatross, 2 different types of native bees, ohai, alai ula, alai keo keo, io, and kolo and puel. Next. So the unilateral agreement is changed the land use designation back in 1986 from agricultural to urban district for resort development. It's a legally binding agreement still till today. Next. So questions for the community to consider is, where is it too vague, ambiguous, or unclear? Where is it outdated? Should the UA be updated and or changed? What benefits are outstanding and not fulfilled? Who is obligated to fulfill what obligations? And how can the community have a more of a say and voice in the implementation or update of the unilateral agreement? Next. So number 1 is they need to provide a water system. If they're going to drill new wells, the community needs to be aware of the usage, the capacity, how the wells drilling will affect the aquifer. Next. The sewage, they did build a sewage plant up in the Mauka area, but is that at capacity, and will that be able to handle the new development? Next. Full service versus and short-term rentals. So they were supposed to have full service hotel units. We are not sure if the legal agreement with the local 5 changed it to be 100% requirement. And so short-term vacation rentals are legal in the resort zoning area for particularly H1 and H2. Our community needs to be concerned about that. The developer said RR3 is not going to allow short-term vacation rentals, but we're concerned about enforcement. Next. Affordable housing, they are supposed to, they said they're going to give up 50 affordable housing units, but we don't have details of where it's going to be built, who's going to be held accountable, what are the price ranges. Our community needs a voice in all of this. Next. Parks, we really are concerned about the 2 parks that are available to that are designated, especially the one near Kahuku Point, near all of those 11 endangered and threatened species. The community really needs a voice in being able to determine how these parks are built out, and if it's built out by the 1986 standards, it's just really going to be wreak havoc on the environment and overpopulate the area. Next. They're supposed to provide public access and parking and marsh improvements. Next. 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 Yeah, so number 7 is cultural sites. There have been questions about EV Kupuna and who the cultural monitors are, and I recommend that Ko'olauloa neighborhood, Ko'olauloa Hawaiian Civic Club have a say in the cultural monitoring in the area during construction if it does happen. Next. Yeah, so highway improvements. They're gonna be doing a new traffic study, but this is the thing that the community also should be very involved with because they're supposed to be providing traffic mitigation measures to lessen traffic, and there haven't been a lot of details in terms of how they're going to implement these traffic mitigation measures. And the community is very, very concerned about traffic and the implications for this new development. Next. Yeah, so design, they're supposed to have included the community voice in the design process. And so there are a really big question is, should DPP be allowed to approve buildings that are outside of the 300 feet mark? Obviously, everybody understands that our ocean is rising and the sea level is rising, and it seems just crazy that DPP would approve anything within the 150 to 300 mark. Next. Yeah, and so there's just things that are outdated in the UA that need to be updated, such as like their landscaping plans and what does Kama'aina Estates really mean. Next. Wait, did you skip one? Sorry. Okay, there. So the Land Use Commission they must comply with all parts of the agreement. But there's an outstanding challenge in 2013 from the Whenua Coalition. We don't even know if that was settled. Next. Child care center, they said they're going to build a child care center. The community needs a voice in where that is built, how that is built. Next. Employment programs, they're supposed to have done an employment program, and a previous Dawson said that it was met in 1989, but where did the money go? Was it really met? Next. Local planning. So there was a group called Kuilima North Shore Strategy Planning Committee. It was like a group of 40 people that was supposed to guide the development process, and they were supposed to be consulted. So what kind of group is being created for this same purpose today? Because it's a legal agreement, I believe that both developers should be reinvigorating a different kind of group if these 40 people are not able to participate in the way that they did in 1986. Next. They were supposed to advocate for a marine life conservation district at Kawela Bay, but what does best efforts mean? How does that fit in with the current businesses operating, and what are the pros and cons of the marine life conservation district? Next. So the bottom line is the new owners, both Host and Arete, are still very much so at the early stages of understanding our concerns. We have been voicing the concerns as soon as we found out, because again, the community was not notified back in 2022. Before that, after that, like we all got the press release, and that's when we got notified. Our communities are at the early stages of also learning about the developers. And could construction be paused to address community questions and concerns and to reevaluate the unilateral agreement? Our communities need to be at the table and try to reach agreements on the benefits and the potential impacts. And that's not a request, that's a legal obligation according to the unilateral agreement. And because there's so much outdated with the unilateral agreement that needs to be updated to 2024 standards and needs, I think that our community should request that the developer pause all construction so that we can that they can in good faith start renegotiation of the unilateral agreement with the community. Next. We can do this. Let's think about our Kuleana and our impact and our quality of life and our future generations. And we should all speak up now and fight for our legal rights to these obligations. Thank you. And please remember to fill out the Google form. I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the slides in the chat box. I'm so sorry about my voice again and for having to go so fast, but I think I did it. Did I do it?
You did amazing.
Good job.
Can I just make a comment?
We're now at 14 minutes. Quick
Jessica,
comments.
just thank you so very much. It's clear, it's concise, it answers, it gives us a good direction going forward. So mahalo for all your hard work. You really did the legwork for the rest of us to be more knowledgeable and go forward with more intelligence. So mahalo.
Other comments from the board? Share it, right?
Yeah, we also need the Google form answered.
Yeah, the Google form.
We need the Google form.
Yes. So I encourage everyone to please actually like read the slides. I like gave the fast and quick summary, but we really should read the slides and read the unilateral agreement and see like how completely outdated it is. I will put the link, the share link to the slides in the chat box right now, and the link, everything is hyperlinked in the slides too. Like if you go into the slides, there's hyperlinks to all of the important documents and to the Google form, but I will also put the link to the Google form in the chat box as well.
And Sim, can you send that to the board?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you guys. Thanks.
Could we forego committee reports or do you want to? Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay with everybody? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to? Just get moved to defer committee report.
I second.
Yeah. Motion.
Second.
Sunny motion. Good.
Second.
Second.
You postpone this to the next agenda?
Next.
Okay.
Can I just make an announcement? Are you
Not
gonna?
yet.
That's Inga. Sunny.
Oh.
Yes.
We're in the middle of a vote, Sunny. Did you have a question?
Oh, so you're deferring the committee reports? Is that what it was? Committee reports?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'll just make my announcement later on at the community concerns. I can do that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there any objections?
No.
No.
No, we're good.
Motion is passed to defer to the next agenda.
Community concerns. Right here, public input, community announcements, right here. Right there. And so she.
Are you working with this?
Yes, we're on public concerns now.
Yeah, it's right here, right after,
It's behind.
right there.
From the back.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. All right. Public input, concerns, announcement. Jessica, go ahead.
No, Sunny.
I'm sorry, Sunny.
Yeah, I just wanted to make an announcement. This coming Thursday or next week, or is it 2 weeks? September 26th, Thursday at Kahuku Elementary School cafeteria, we will be having a community meeting regarding the Kahuku District Park Recreation Center and pool development or project. So we want to invite all our community members from the Ko'olauloa and North Shore to come and provide your input on the design and planning phase of this project.
What time, Sunny?
Oh, sorry, 6 to 8 p.m. And the parks, the Department of Parks and Rec will be present, as well as G70, who will be the designing and planning of this of the recreation center and pool.
Wait, is this a meeting or is this
Communities.
Good.
It's a community meeting.
Community.
Okay. Yeah.
Where is it gonna be held?
Kahuku High School.
Cafeteria.
High school cafeteria.
Kahuku Elementary School. Sorry.
Elementary.
High school, elementary school cafeteria.
Okay, great. Any other announcements?
I do, Sunny Greer. This Saturday, September 14th at Kualoa Ranch is the 25th annual Epili Mai Kumuhula Mary Kupau Music Hula Ono Grinds. It is a free community event, craft and info booths. And then save the date for the Ka'ava School PTO Country Bazaar, November 16th. And they're looking for vendors. If you want information on being a vendor, let me know. But November 16th, 9 to 3, Elementary.
Go ahead.
Evelyn Lane, I'd like to announce that here on September 26th from starting at 6 p.m. and every fourth Thursday of the month thereafter, we are going to be having a NAMI, National Alliance for the Mentally Ill Family Support Group that'll begin in the community. So
Where?
right here in this room.
Okay. Where? Other announcements? This is board announcements. Let me make one other announcement, and then you can go, and then there was another announcement over here. Okay. I just wanted to announce that there is a CERT training this Saturday. It is the 14th, and it will be from 8 to 4. And any community member is welcome to join us. It's free lunch. And we also have a second meeting on the 28th. Those are two training sessions. Then following that in October, there is a third day that is actually a hands-on exercise, practicing all the skills that you learn in the CERT. So if any of you are interested or know high school age kids that are interested, we welcome anybody to join us on Saturday. Just let me know or give me a call. 293-5000 is the number. Okay.
Age requirements?
Say that again?
Are there age requirements?
No, high school's fine. Okay, go ahead.
Just a comment for the letter, and even though we're not able to put input, but just to let you guys know, September 23rd, 2021, Holly Highway had their humps put in, and that was on the news about disturbance of traffic, safety, noise. If you ever drive there now, there's only one speed hump other than the 6 that they put in. So the community got together with the representative, they got that removed and agreed between DOT and the community to come together of what's really needed. And there's only one speed hump, which is this at the bottom of Holly. The rest has been removed. So there is possible, but it's just the community and representatives got to get together to talk to DOT.
So it was the state representative?
Yeah, because the state, the wherever is those, it was on the news for KHON2. If you look it up, it shows the rep online, I mean, on the news. He's going to get together with the community because the community concerns was noise, safety, the traffic, and after whatever community meeting they had, if we ever drive there now, there's only one there. The rest has been removed.
Good to know. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to adjourn the meeting now.
Second.
Second or third.
Thank you very much.
Nope.
Thank you, everybody, for all your comments. Mahalo.
Everybody.